The noble Atreides, the insidious ORDOS, the evil Harkonnen. All three are evenly poised. All three are equally committed. All three know that the key to victory lies on a vast, barren, waterless world. Arrakis, home of the most precious substance in the known universe, the spice melange.
Howdy folks and welcome. I hope this finds you well. If you're new to the channel, please know that it wouldn't be a Dog Dad video without your thoughts and opinions on the games I cover. If you feel comfortable, I'd love to have a discussion. While making the video on Red Alert 2, my research led me across its developer, Westwood Studios. Westwood Studios was created in 1985 and then bought out twice, the first time by Virgin Games in 1992 and the next time by EA in 1998. Before Westwood's final liquidation into the vat of EA studio goo, I was interested to see what the studio had made other than Command & Conquer. Most studios would be lucky to come off with one hit, so I was eager to see what else they had created. Apart from older titles like Eye of the Beholder series, an old MS-DOS role-playing game, or Legend of Kiandri, a 2D point-and-click adventure game, another title caught my eye, something that has come back into the sci-fi cultural phenomena.
I am Shafla. I represent the Spacing Guild's interest in this matter. Under the terms of the Great Convention, a limited form of warfare known as the War of Assassins has been declared by three factions. House Atreides, House Harkonnen, and House ORDOS. The rules of conflict prescribe formal declarations of intent. Who would speak for House Atreides?
Welcome to Westwood Studios' interpretation of Dune, in their 2001 game, Emperor Battle for Dune. Now, the story doesn't start here. It actually starts with the first game in the series, aptly named Dune, in 1992. Now, this Dune video game could have its own video with all the apparent troubles it went through, but for now, we just have to know that it spawned 3 more games that loosely follow the story. Crazily enough, and this is why I love doing these research videos, is that Dune 2, the second game in the series, is apparently the archetype real-time strategy game, meaning that this game started the top-down base-building RTS that became so prevalent in the later 90s. With a remaster in 98 to a more Command & Conquer level of quality of life called Dune 2000, we finally come to our fantastic gem, Battle for Dune.
On Caladan, you learn to swim by leaping directly into the ocean, yes? Let us see how you fare in a sea of dunes.
Now, Emperor Battle for Dune was released in June 2001 to mild acclaim. Many critics citing it for a Command & Conquer reskin and, quote, an overwhelming sense of deja vu, end quote. Ouch. I guess the gaming industry hasn't changed. Nevertheless, I was intrigued where they went with the new story, and just coming off Red Alert 2, I was confident I could breeze through this game. Oh boy. You can choose between 3 houses, House Atreides, House Harkonnen, and one name that was not familiar, House ORDOS.
I have procured a new military strategist, as you directed.
Strategist and overseer. The occupation has many facets. Show it the fate of the precursory strategist. Fear is an efficient tool of management.
Let me die.
What I could gather was that House ORDOS is in the Dune Encyclopedia but is not canon. If anyone that understands this stuff could help, it would be greatly appreciated. ORDOS are a cult that somehow is completely infatuated with margins.
To Arrakis, how shall we proceed?
There is a new directive. We wish to test a recently acquired weapons technology. Deviator gas. Those who breathe it are driven into a killing frenzy. They are also highly susceptible to suggestion. You will transport a container of the gas to the maintenance area of the Highliner.
Also creepy things.
By the Executrix to reveal classified information at this time. The Gola is conditioned to be loyal to House ORDOS. When House ORDOS defeats its enemies, the Gola will be placed on the throne as a puppet emperor. The Executrix will remain the true leaders of the Empire. Your immediate concern is Arrakis.
Honestly, the ORDOS leader reminded me of a combination of the Master in Fallout 1 and Nemesis in Resident Evil. It's probably why I chose them to be my faction for this playthrough. You can pick between the three houses for your domination of Arrakis, and I was kind of blown away that each had their own unique subplots within the game.
Our ornithopters rescued a Fremen patrol. Their leader demands to speak with you.
Out of my way, Gafla!
You were not given permission to enter.
Silence, Mentat! The Atreides saved our lives, true. But now such treachery! The bodies of my fallen brethren have been stolen by your guards. By rights, that water belongs to my tribe. I will have it back, or you will taste my blade. So damn funny.
The bodies of your tribesmen were wrapped in micropore to preserve their water. They can be returned whenever you like. The Fremen offers you his water. This is a sign of utmost respect.
Wait, is that Comrade Romanov? I'm glad he found a new career as a mentat to the Atreides. These live-action cutscenes have a newfound place in my heart. They're fantastic, and we'll talk about them more in depth later. After the tutorial, which, that voice sounds so familiar.
Yes, sir. Let's go. Let's go. I read you. Standing by.
You're put in this For Honor map. It was cool to see this implemented so long ago, and made the campaign feel a bit more grand in scale, which I enjoyed. You decide where to send your troops, but the story is linear no matter your path on the map. The game has a lot of great missions spanning the three great houses. I enjoyed the micro of the stealth levels and the usage of specialty troops, like the ones that allow you to convert Sardaukar.
Command, sir.
There was one mission that hurt me, but other than that, this game has a solid level design, with decent unit integration within the levels themselves, which I felt in Command & Conquer as well. Another great addition was the environmental factors that plague Arrakis as a planet. Not only do you have these desert storms that can wipe out half your base, but you also have sandworms. This was great at first, and then quickly became annoying. I enjoyed the idea, of course. It perfectly fits into the lore of Dune. Traversing the desert should be hard and not guaranteed. But in an RTS where resources are slim and troops are mighty useful, having your $20,000 bling group of Sardaukar instantly eaten by a sand dweeb? Oh, I didn't mean that. It can get frustrating. Playing through the game and failing missions, my APM and micro got better, so this happened less, but I still cringe at hearing the sandworm detected and then seconds later hearing unit lost and not seeing an army on the minimap. This kind of difficulty, even on the easiest of modes, makes these games endearing and long-lasting. There will always be points where it goes overboard, yet I think Emperor Battle for Dune does a good balance at difficulty, setting, and fun. You can tell they truly loved making this game and the franchise itself. Hans Zimmer did a great job with the movies, and I also think that Battle for Dune's distinct 2000s feel brings a different feeling to the Spice Melange war. It also is remarkable that each faction has their own soundtrack, equipped with their own prelude, menu, and map music, each about an hour long. Nowadays, with some games thinking about turning to AI for their music, I can only shudder and hope that this art never dies. The story is great too, even if it is fan fiction. Again, no matter what house you start as, the missions culminate to the same ending, and if you're a fan of Dune and RTSs, I'm sure you'll be wanting to play each house, if not at least watch their cinematics. Basically, in the last Dune game, Dune 2000, the Emperor has been killed and all the noble houses have descended into chaos. In comes the Spacing Guild. Did George Lucas steal this idea from here? Anyways, the Spacing Guild presents all three houses with the idea of a battle royale on Arrakis. Last person standing gets the Spice Melange, and in turn, the Emperorship. All being fanatics of different backgrounds, each house accepts, and the War of Assassins begins. During the playthrough of this game, you'll hear a lot of deep cuts in the Dune lore, and it's pretty frickin' cool. If you don't want spoilers, head to this time. Alright, get ready for some insanely good fan fiction. So, you get told of this group called the Beni Telax or Telalax? Tylaxu? Sorry if I butcher saying it. Let's just say they are bioweapon experts who like to dabble with all sorts of messed up and devious things. When looking them up, they're said to be genetically engineering face dancers who can mimic other humans. Yo, Denis, s'il vous plaît, put these in the next movie. They also can make other races think they're less dangerous with like some gland. I don't know, I'm reading off the Dune Wiki and all of this is just blowing my mind. I really gotta read the books. Anyway, the Talaxu, after a couple of missions, come to you with the idea of sending out these bioweapons.
They have developed human mutations called contaminators. These carry a virus that mutates living tissue into additional contaminators. The more they kill, the greater their ranks become. They have also developed bioengineered tanks that convert enemy units into replicas of themselves. These they call leeches.
Who thought this was a good idea? It looks like Gumpy, but he's a zombie. Anyways, once you defeat one of your opponents and take over their homeworld, you'll get this cutscene.
What is it?
The Highliner has abandoned us and returned to Arrakis. Our spies tell us that the Guild and the Tylaxu have launched a joint attack there. Without the Highliner, our frigates cannot return. We are stranded here. My lord, I have failed you. I will, of course, tender my resignation.
Do not play the fool. How could you have foreseen this? Our contacts with the Arakin Smugglers Guild. Do we not have favors due us? Old debts to call in.
Oh, of course, my lord.
Make the arrangements then.
At once.
This is a great time to talk about the cutscenes. Throughout writing this script, I've been thinking why so many years ago I thought these live action moments were corny and stupid. Now I respect every actor, set, and costume designer that put their time and dedication into this project. It's because of all of that and more. The acting reminds me of the Lawrence Fishburne's Othello. It's scripted, but somehow elevates itself to something more than dialogue.
No riddles! What are you? Speak truth or die, here and now.
I am a genetic duplicate. A Gola.
Is that true?
Genetic samples were taken from the dead body of the Emperor. and smuggled from Kaitan by Tailaxu's spies. These have been purchased by House ORDOS.
Then he's identical to Carino in every respect.
Your Emperor could return to his throne. A campaign of propaganda could explain that he fled an assassination plot and took asylum among the ORDOS.
It has this feeling, something I only get from live-action media. Now, I am not saying Battle for Dune is comparable to Shakespeare, but the methods used by the director of the game and the writers do an excellent job at weaving a cohesive narrative and a meaningful story. Anyways, the Spacing Guild did us dirty. Turns out this was all a ruse to get the houses to destroy each other, thus leaving the spice melange to the Spacing Guild. There was also this secret worm testing going on, which was a cool premise. Not only does the Spacing Guild want us dead, but the research on the sandworms, I kid you not, they want to make the Emperor worm. The Emperor worm is supposed to be the splicing of a worm in human DNA with psychic powers that can control people's minds. Okay, that's pretty cool, but why does it have T-Rex hands? Anyways, you make it back to Arrakis with the help of the Smugglers Guild, and in the last battle defeat the Sandworm. Now, all of this sounds a little bit straightforward, and you'd be right, and that's where the game really shines in my opinion. Each house, as I said before, has their own subplot, so while the main story is similar, the subplots vary dramatically. For House Atreides, their campaign is all about regaining the trust of the Fremen. If you're a fan of the movies, you'll love seeing this depiction of the nomadic tribe, and you might get some similar scenes from the first Dune movie. House Harkonnen's campaign is all about Baron Rakan and his two warring sons. It's a tale as old as time, and the brothers compete for their ailing father's favor. You can choose which one ascends to the baronship, which was a neat touch. And then there is House ORDOS, which is set on the Directive to make money in the creepiest way possible. And that is the Directive. It gave me Doctor Who dialect vibes.
As for to prevent our destruction, that is the Directive.
You must destroy the malfunctioning weapons and prevent the destruction of the Executrix. That is the imperative. Prepare your troops!
ORDOS has the ability to create goal loss. They're sort of like the mimics we talked about earlier.
To create Golas. Slave warriors grown in flesh vats, genetically formed from the corpses of our fallen enemies. These should prove quite effective for infiltration and assassination.
Anyway, they make one of the deceased Emperor, and the Sardaukar are not pleased about this thing. To get the generals on our side, for power and money, that is the Directive, we go around infiltrating their society with Golos and taking control of their armies. All of this is great planning and directive and wouldn't be possible without our leader, Executrix. Hi Executrix, welcome to meet your leader. Oh, that's not the Directive? Wait, what are you doing? I was asked to interview you.
You are not satisfactorily fulfilling the requirements of your contract. Improvement is mandatory. Non-compliance will result in termination. Failure is not an option.
Your contract is terminated.
Executrix is pretty cool, and as I said before, evokes a bunch of different characters that I love. But what exactly is it? The game describes it as 4 beings that share a single mind and communicate only through a creature known as the Speaker. This is pure fantastic sci-fi, and come on, put this in the next movie. We also have our Mentat Roma, who does a great job at her character. Every Mentat does for their faction. And with the Emperor Worm dead and the Directive fulfilled, that's the end of Emperor Battle for Dune. And whoa, I can't wait to see what comes next. Oh wait, what? Turns out Emperor Battle for Dune was the last game until Dune Spice Wars in 2022. A wait over 20 years. I don't know if this game caused the end of the Dune-inspired titles, because both Dune Generations in 2001 and Dune Ornithopter Assault in 2002 were straight up cancelled. Or was it just EA's acquisition and the licensing rights going to hell? Maybe that's for another video. I did pick up Dune Spice Wars recently, and I'm very excited to dive into that game sometime soon. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you've heard about this game or even had the joy of playing it down below in the comments. Please leave that comment, click that like button, and subscribe if you haven't already. If you really enjoyed the video, check out my channel. I make sure there's something there for everyone. I don't know where I would like to focus next, but I know there will be some great videos coming soon. Thank you again for taking the time out of your day, for your support, and for your gracious comments. It wouldn't mean anything without the dialogue back and forth with you all. And as always, see you next time.